picking up here, session 35, we're actually showing the outside of as we're calling it, the murder tube. And it is the location where you're actually at is inside it on the 3rd floor, I believe. You scaled the wall and found your way into the 3rd floor window where we left off. I don't know if there's anything else worth really touching on throughout last session that anyone wants to mention.
Well, yeah, we did hear voices down was it a stairway or something?
Yeah.
Stairway. I think that's where we're picking up is what who
Yeah.
got the voices.
Okay. So we'll cut to the map then. And I think the last thing that we had rolled was stealth, right? And some of you had done very well. Some of you did not do very well. I think it was pretty much the natural stealth worked out, and those who are not gifted in it didn't, as you'd expect. But it made some noise, needless to say, getting in and out of the window. It wasn't exactly the best climb or easiest climb, but you all made it pretty easily because you had some help. But you got yourselves into here, and now what before you are a series of crates and shelves. It looks like a pretty open storage area, and you hear voices echoing from the circular staircase across the room coming from downstairs, as it would be. Yeah, downstairs. So we'll pick it up right here. I think first, very likely, we could do perception checks.
Yeah, doing that perception check, Fenwarden's going to use his, ageless patience, and to take a very careful perception check. And obviously, he wants to hear if he can see what they're saying. But the other thing he wants to do is see if one of the voices seems to be more commanding, a leader or a commander or something like that, over the other voices.
I like it.
Roll that check.
Yeah.
And this check will be a
couple good other perception checks here. So
there it is. Yeah, it'll be a +2 on this roll.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, 29.
How about Rekla?
Sorry, I was trying to fix some audio issues. Perception.
Wow. Okay. So Joe got a 29 and everyone else got a measly 28 on their perception check.
On high alert inside the
amateurs.
My goodness. So I think, given what you were focused on, the sound that you're hearing sounds like it sounds like some sort of carrying on, as if there's maybe a small gathering or something like unusual like that. You hear maybe some dishes rattling and some voices like almost cackling now and then. And but what is being said is not necessarily clear to you, but the voice that you hear and the language that you hear would be recognizable to those of you that speak Draconic. So that seems to be coming from, you're not sure if that's the floor directly below you or below that because it's echoing through the staircase, but it's definitely coming from beneath. And I think at that time, Fenwarden, you actually, as you're focused on the staircase, you actually hear some movement coming from over in the room as you peer around and you look and you see a little head stick up from behind one of the crates. And it is let's see, how would I describe these guys? I don't have a picture of one right now to show you. Actually, I might. One moment, please.
Does Sydney see the little head as well?
Joe saw it. I'm gonna have Joe be the only one that saw this here. Okay, here it is. I do have a picture of it. I don't know if this is gonna show you too much or just the picture. So I guess you tell me what this shows you. Does it show you the character sheet?
If we scroll down, we can see the character sheet, but the pictures at the top.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So this
How big is it human sized?
it's shorter than, it's about 4 foot.
Oh, okay. Smaller than Fenwarden, anyway.
Yeah,
So,
a little smaller than, or a little bigger than most gnomes. You would think it's more like
okay.
dwarven size, right? Maybe somewhere in that range, like a little over 4 foot. And
All right.
so in the process, what happens is you lock eyes with this thing first over top of the crates, and its eyes pop, and he immediately reaches, grabs something, and I'll have you all roll initiative, but he is going to exclaim first, "By the 9 hells, the moon is too dim to enter this eve. Who are you?" And he says that to you in Draconic. So those of you, again, I don't know who all, I think multiple of you do.
I think it's only Sydney, but
Yeah.
we could maybe do some perception checks because we've been around it. We would know maybe it's Draconic. We might not know what he's saying.
That's true. 100% true, yeah. All right. Oops, I forgot to put our... Let's see if this caught your rolls.
Okay. Yeah. Fenwarden sees it. Everybody else hears him yell. Could Fenwarden get one action in advance? One free action? Whatever you want to call it. You saw it first.
I'll let you all talk with it before it acts, and it's trying to give you an opportunity to speak, right? So it's not necessarily, we're not going straight, it's not going straight into combat, but I wanted to go ahead and get the turn order out of the way. But yeah, you can definitely act. In other words, to answer your question, it's, you can definitely act.
Yeah. Of course, Fenwarden's going to point it out to the group, and he's not shouting. He's keeping his voice low, but he says, "Does anybody understand what this creature is uttering?"
Sydney is going to immediately snap at it and be like, "Silence! We've been sent by Urgothoa to represent." And I will attempt to, hopefully I know something about the Urgothoan cult. I've got some background there, but I'll throw in like a detail about the necromancer dude that was back, that I was in that cell of. I think Xandros or something, Xandros.
Right.
Sounds right.
Sent by Xandros, we must speak.
Wow.
And I'm gonna in Draconic.
Okay. I think this is like more of a deception roll, potentially, if you want to try that. And let me see if I can do something real quick while you're doing that. Sorry, 1 second here. I'm just trying to get the... Oh, I see what it did. Okay. I'll show you a different... This is a different version of the Spriggan that you can see him a little bit. It's a little bit more like the one that you're looking at versus the stock image of a Spriggan. But so I think, let's double check here. I'm gonna have him roll to see what he sees through potentially here. Sorry, I've got too many sheets open all of a sudden. All right. So I think this is... I don't know what his check would be. I'm trying to figure out what his check would be.
Probably perception?
Yeah, I believe it's perception against a deception check.
Okay, that explains it then, because he doesn't have it on his sheet here. I'm gonna do a different check for him then, just to see, because I think this would apply here in a sense where he's gonna do an intimidation roll to see how he's swayed versus you, because his role is to intimidate as well. Although it's not rolling for him, is it? Are you guys seeing the roll? Oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah, a bunch of them came up.
Suddenly, okay, I was starting with his first roll. So in this case, I think his reaction to you will be a little bit suspicious, and he'll say to you, "Then, what's the password then?" In very clear, draconic.
Could Rekla have an action?
Yeah, everybody here can discuss.
I'll give him an intimidating glare. And you don't need to actually have language. It's just a look.
Fenwarden's going to draw his short sword. He's just slowly, so it's not misinterpreted that he's going to rush him or something like that, but he's drawing the weapon.
I'll also draw my sword.
All right,
I'm gonna use Figment to create the symbol of Urgothoa in the air.
Oh, I like it. Let's see. I owe you a willpower check, Scott. So that's
Yeah,
a critical fail to your check.
on
And
a critical
yeah.
success.
Okay. Yeah. So I think as as furious as Rekla can look, I don't know what is his.
So his thing is, because he's so connected to the cosmos, essentially what he imparts with his look is that you are nothing, you are dust, you are a mote of nothingness in an ocean of space
Man,
and
that'd be
time. And
very almost Urgothoan in a way.
I was gonna say I'm gonna piggyback on that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I definitely think then you've got him that point, like with that stare after he said to you, he's like, I know there's no password. I was just checking. It seems unusual there'd be so many of you. What's your business? We aren't usually trading today.
We don't need to trade. We need to speak. There is an issue in the
Lonely Barrows?
yeah, the Lonely Barrows. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. I was like cavern. It isn't a cavern. In the Lonely Barrows, Zaros needs reinforcements.
All Urgothoan business is downstairs. This is Spriggan territory. Make your way to the steps.
Escort us or be returned to the earth. And I look at Rekla.
I cannot
Like he
leave.
said.
I cannot leave my station.
I'm gonna cast Charm on him.
Okay.
And I will be using my Deception Charm. I will use that conceal spell thingy. So that would make it a 3-action cast.
All right, so he gets a will save. I need to pop his character sheet out here. Will. Oh, a critical failure. So his attitude becomes helpful towards you, and he says, I guess I could leave my station. There are a lot of you. It is unusual."
You said it yourself. The moon is not bright enough. Let us depart. And all you hear is Sydney talking back and forth with the Spriggan in Draconic. And that's probably one of the few times she's really had an aura of authority. Normally she's always like super deferential. Hey boss, whatever you need, boss. Whatever. She's like on top of it. And then she looks back at y'all and she's like, hey boss, you want an escort? It looks we got somebody to lead the way downstairs.
We'll
Very good.
Mm.
we'll have you all follow them. Let me add them to the turn order, just so that I have general order here. Do any of you see yourselves twice in the turn order?
Fenwarden's going to whisper to Sydney.
No.
Okay.
No. Ask him if he's the only one up here.
Oh, and how many are down there?
Yeah, I asked him what his numbers are. What are your numbers? How many can we spare? We need as many as we can muster. The lizardmen in the south move against us.
I don't know our numbers. Ralgriff knows our numbers. You are Urgothoan. I do not know their numbers either. So what do you mean?
The lizardmen, they organize against us from the south.
The lizard man. Listen, your business is Urgothoan. Take it downstairs. Follow me.
Take us downstairs.
Yeah, but you're asking him like Urgothoan business, and so he's trying to make clear to you that
Certainly.
there's a distinction in this
Yeah.
tower between Urgothoan business and Spriggan business. So he's
And I explained that to Fenwarden, and in response, I was like, I don't think he's really with the Urgothoans. I don't know that he knows anything that's going on. I think
I
we
was just wondering if there's more Spriggins around hiding in these other crates or something like that that will come down behind
I
us.
think the answer is most certainly yes if we take this route, boss. Yeah.
so he'll stand like ready to lead. You do
Sydney's
notice
right beside him, ready to roll.
Yeah, you do notice that he's like at this point pretty helpful, pretty cooperative. Like he's fallen for your ruse entirely. He thinks you're Urgothoan and that you just don't know the way, and that he suddenly has to be the greeter who takes you to where you're supposed to be. So he'll lead the way to the spiral stairs. Anybody taking any particular actions as you follow him. We'll have you each of you roll perception checks as you descend the staircase, so you can keep an eye on whether you're being followed or what else you detect. But is anyone else doing anything?
Rekla would have his wand available, his wand of magic missiles available.
Yeah, Fenward's still got his sword out, and he's just before we step down the staircase, he's going to stall and take another careful perception check around this room just to see if there's anything else he missed.
So I think one of the things that maybe you didn't get enough time to do was to really focus on what was in the crates throughout this space. And I think amongst the crates, some of the crates, it might be obvious, others not so much, and the labeling system leaves a lot to be desired. But you do see in one of the corners, there's like a pallet with some really crude bars of what looks like some silver metallic metal on. If you wanted to inspect things closer, you could potentially do that. But it almost looks like a small warehouse of, I don't know, this small treasure trove of things that you wouldn't have expected to be of value to the Urgothoans, I guess, at the end of the day. So you might start to suspect that the Spriggins are either employed by or employing or benefiting in some way from this tower. And so that's just one of the things that might stick out to you as you all are making your way then towards the staircase, some with hands on wands, some just listening carefully. You can start to descend the staircase and continue to look at his demeanor. So I think you guys can all do perception checks here from the stairs. I'll move you into the stair area.
Okay.
I'm going to
Eh.
use conceal spell again to get detect magic up.
Okay.
And I'll be, just in case I feel like there's a magical trap, or if somebody has like a magic item or something on them as we go by, so that maybe I know if they're like extra surprisingly powerful or something.
Yeah. I think, I guess my question for you is the footsteps heading to the. One of the things that would be noticeable to you is that the Spriggan's foot almost makes not a sound as he walks. Do the rest of you wish to try to be stealthy, knowing that the Spriggan is not making much noise himself? Or do you just want to follow?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's, even if nothing else, it might help to hide our numbers. Yeah, I think be giving it a try.
Stealth check?
Yeah, just to see how quiet you guys are in general as a group as you descend here. Which it turns out is not that quiet, but you make your way, and we're in the lower left now corner where you're still in that spiral staircase, and you've descended now down to the second level. And the exit from the stairs that you see here leads to a door. There's actually like a door on the wall that faces south. Let me double check what your vision is. I want to make sure you guys can see. Yeah, so this room looks like it forces you to head into this southern chamber, or in this southerly direction, and he continues past this floor. So I'm just letting you know, if you're listening on this level, you can hear some movement, but you don't see anybody, or this doesn't sound where the voices are coming from. By the way, the voices are getting closer as you descend one more level. So let's see, gonna move you guys up here.
Edmorn, I'll pick up a shield.
All right, you're now in the upper right corner of the map, and I'm gonna bring you guys into this area. The Spriggan now, like, he's been like obediently escorting you all through the stairs and out into the chamber. I'm gonna move you guys into this main chamber because this pretty much dumps you right into this main chamber where He walks straight in so nonchalant, and I think for you all, the very real thing of this is that you see a sort of dilapidated looking dining table, circular dining table, and seated at it are 3 skeletal figures who seem to
Grand.
be eating and drinking. They've got this feast of decay in front of them. And as you enter the room, their response, I think, is interesting, that the one who is across from you as you walk into the room says, "Have a seat, join us." And that there are seats available that you could sit at. And the Spriggan, I should say, doesn't walk past like a certain distance in the room. You do see that on this level there's another Spriggin. And the looks that they give one another as the one walks in are like a deadlier glare than coming from the undead who sit
How are you
at the
doing?
yeah, what is going on, like this is not expected type of look. But they don't have a discussion. He brings you here, and he steps back in the corner now. As you asked for, he's brought you to the Urgothoan welcome center in his mind. So you've been dropped off at customer care here. So what?
That's a front desk.
Front desk.
I tell our Spriggard to announce us.
You're gonna have to roll to see if you can get him to convince him to announce you.
Because basically, I'm not entirely sure if this is the dude that he said was in charge, Reptilian or whatever.
Oh,
Raugrith. Sorry.
yeah, no. I'll mention.
But I tell him, I basically, do not do us a disservice. Announce us. We come from Xandros.
I think you're gonna want to probably intimidate him here into this, because this is unusual for him to do. I think he's. Yeah, I think he'll snap back at that. He'll snap back at that and say, "Announce yourself. We'll have you evicted, or Raugrith and I will have you evicted." And you catch a little bit of attitude from him, like that he feels like he can be a little snappy with you, not even knowing who you are necessarily.
Then I tell him to leave our presence, and we have Urgothoan business to attend to, and tell him to take a Spriggan friend with him.
He'll comply, but his Spriggan friend is not going to budge unless you want to try to specifically target him to get out of here. But yeah, he'll gladly march off. He'll look frustrated but relieved that he gets to go back to his station, and he will ascend the steps out of here. The other one, who's just standing in position now, I think, who may have been looking somewhat relaxed at one point, is now pretty tensed up, just staring at you all. If you're trying to get him to leave, you'll want to roll some type of check, because he looks like this is where he belongs.
Yeah, I will turn to Raugrith, or at least who I assume is Raugrith. And I will gesture to him, and I will sit down at the table as I was requested. But I will come up, and I will lightly sit down at the table. I'm not going to eat any of the decayed food or anything, but I'm going to be like, "We've been sent by Zalgros from the Barrows in the south. The lizard men move," and it's all in Draconic.
How about the others? Does anybody else join them at the table?
The skeletons were speaking common, I take it, or what language were they speaking?
That's a good point. I think they'll speak in common.
Oh, I assumed Draconic. I apologize. If they spoke common, I'm fine in common.
Yeah, no, I think at your site they might assume that not the complexion of your party might not all understand Draconic, so they will have, I think, uttered some of this in common. So you guys should have an idea that you've been invited to sit down. Yeah.
Van Morden would be more comfortable standing up. He's going to take up the posture like he's a guard and stand against the wall. He'll stand next to the Spriggan, see if you can make him nervous.
Nala will do the same effectively.
All right. So I think the Spriggan might at that point like sidestep one. He just buffer
Distance.
space, like just that's a little close. That's a little close.
It's like in an elevator where
Yeah.
you keep wiggling up on it.
Yeah, he's just
Push him up into the corner.
just one more little step to the side, like maybe before he like stops and holds his ground. But
definitely trying to look down on him from his elven heights. Okay.
yeah, I think these Spriggins look like they are more acting in a mercenary fashion somewhat. So he's not all that concerned about you standing next to him, but he's definitely trying to like monitor the security of the room. You get that impression. So he's keeping his eyes on everybody. He's obviously a little unnerved that you're standing there. Sydney sits at the table. Reckless sits at the table. Dala is watching the steps. And I think before you, needless to say, amongst the decaying, rotting flesh and goblets of who knows what types of elixirs and strange goo, that you look also upon the table and that there's an empty goblet. And they say, the one that was seating there, he says, "Please have a drink from the goblet."
I have detect magic up still from upstairs. Does the goblet detect as magical?
Let's see, is the goblet magical? Yes, it is
Or
magical.
like
It
any
is. No,
like
that's
any of the space inside it, I guess, the emptiness inside it.
the goblet itself just appears to be arcane.
So it's disgusting and magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will pick it up, raise a toast. I'm gonna take a drink. And then, but before I do, I'm gonna actually act like my crossbow on my back is really uncomfortable, and I'm gonna pull it out, set it on my lap, and I'm gonna set it on my lap so that it's aimed at the Spriggard off to the side here, so it's like crosswise, across sideways. It's kind of
I got you. I got you.
right
All
there.
right. All right. I hear you.
And then I'm going to set down the cup and act like I just forgot about the drink. Like I'm gonna get caught up in the getting arranged and use that as an excuse to set down the cup and not actually take a drink.
Okay.
Find out how important it is for you to drink that.
What about the others?
Do I, from based on my occult knowledge and my knowledge of Urgothoa, do I get a sense that this is something? This is some sort of ritual or rite or any knowledge about this?
Yeah, I think you
I mean, I
guys.
know they eat like decayed food and stuff like that. If it's nothing more than that, but I didn't know if there was like a specific ritual.
No, I think that this is something that all of you would probably either, I don't know what kind of lore checks you guys could make. If you have anything like that, you could make lore checks, or I'm trying to see if there's another skill that sounds.
Would occultism work?
Yeah, cultism.
No clue. Rekla knows, but he's wrong.
Whatever Reckless says, but the exact opposite.
I think that you find that there is some type of rite of passage here that can be established potentially, that this is almost like an entry point, that when you can gain the approval of these three, you can wander further into the Urgothoan depth, and you feel like you're being tested, but they're not acting intimidating towards you in any way. They really seem to be like carrying on and like delighted to have guests, not to the point that they're just beside themselves. They're still focused on the idea that you're Urgothoan. So
Yeah. I'm gonna start before anybody questions about the cup or anything like that. And now that I got the crossbow situated, I'm gonna start in a relatively long-winded version of the story. Like I'm intentionally dragging it out and getting lost in some of the details about the Barrows and about Xandros. I'm gonna talk about maybe some of the people that were in the cells with me and the conditions I went through as if that was another person that was there. And then I'm gonna talk about how the lizardmen came up, and then I'm going to start talking about that barbarian king and start like total change of pace, like just a change of topic mid-move about how we discovered that and we think that has something to do with it. and he might be in league with the Lizardmen, but we were about to capture this powerful barbarian king, and his necromantic abilities is part of the cult of Urgothoa, and now we're stretched thin between the two different things of dealing with the Lizardmen, and Xandros needs these reinforcements like ASAP. But it's gonna get like the Aura of Authority is gone, and it's gonna be a lot more of a Sydney
So you could
just like
do
talking, and
like a
it's just on and out. He just drones.
I think you could either do performance. I think performance is the right check because I think it's the way you're trying to deliver this and really spraying them with all kinds of information mixed into the story. So I think they'll sit there and listen and be drinking and looking and watching intently as you're telling all of this story. And I think they'll, once you pause long enough, right, that you're maybe expecting a response, I think, that one of them will raise his glass and he'll say, "A toast to the Lady of Rot." And
The Lady of Rot.
they'll all have a glass in their hands. You'll see that the empty goblet is still on the table as well, and they're holding it up, expecting one of you to take the goblet.
And I am going to use deception to make it look like it hits my lips.
Okay.
But I'm gonna
Go for a.
maybe even from conceal spell figment to see if I can make it look like, I don't know if that's within the rounds of the Sith. It's just a cantrip, so
2 actions.
Let's see. So you can.
all I'm trying to do is basically like blur the distance between the goblet and my lips so that it looks like I'm actually drinking as part of my deception check. Like a dude at a frat party who's had too much to drink but doesn't want to tell anybody.
Okay. Let's see. I think in this case, if you're trying to just
Would that be
deceive it,
deception?
yeah, it's gonna go. You can roll a deception check. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so the like that they are like pleased as you raise your glass, and they are like, "Yes, to the lady." They're just like slurping at their glasses now that they see that you're enjoying your goblet, and they say they say welcome to you, and that to the others they look at the others and say, "To the Lady of Rot." Does anyone else?
I'm gonna get his attention back and be like, "We don't have time for this all night. Certainly, we need to speak to Ralgith. I've told you my story. I need to tell Ralgith my story. We need to move, friend."
It's not Ralgith.
Urgothoa you may last forever in your decay, but our bodies are but flesh. We are not yet completely turned to the lady. And we must secure our quest before the flesh falls from our bones.
All right.
Now I'm gonna stand up.
Make a
and put the drink down.
Make a perception check, Fenwarden, please.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think for the others, you just don't see any response from these things to like the emotion or the emotional plea. The urgency seems to not really change their demeanor, and they will raise their glasses again and say, "To the Lady of Rot, drink with us." They're looking at those who have not. They're not looking at Sydney. They're looking at Rekla, who's also at the table.
Yeah.
I would say here.
I'm gonna get up and start. Is the back room? Is there like a door in the back here, like the exit that way?
It looks like there's a doorway there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up and start working my way around the table, like this. Not like running or anything like that, but I'm gonna get up. Like it's time to go.
Okay, if so, you want to start to move around the table? Okay.
Sure.
All right. So as you're stepping out that way, the Spriggan will step in front of you. So wait a minute, friend. The others must join you or leave before you proceed.
I look to the others. Let's see here. Let's see here.
Oh.
Well, I'm gonna assume that the goblet is still on the table, Rekla. If you want to,
I put it down in my seat when I got up.
So it's really like the eyes are on you. The cold undead stare of 3 of these creepy, flesh-loving, decay-loving undead are staring at you with this blank, I don't know, demented anxiousness. Is he going to do it? Is he one of us?
I think Rekla will try his hand at some diplomacy and say, really, we are in a hurry, and he has just proven that we are willing to drink, but there is no time for all of us to drink, so please excuse us.
Let's see. Will diplomacy really work on them? Let's see.
I don't know.
Window?
I think you make a case like quickly that makes sense to you, but it seems like
Doesn't apply to
their instinct here is programmed in a way. But I'll say this: you're emphatic with the way you deliver it, similar to the way Sydney was, and I think you see even in this undead stare like a loss of patience, and it changes over from like this, oh, they're not gonna drink. And so the demeanor of the 3 at the table, they all set their goblets down, looking you like you're not going to drink. Like you're
Let us
you're
go
freezing.
then.
No, we're not gonna drink.
And I'm gonna.
I
was gonna say before you do that, I was gonna be like, I'm gonna tell this Spriggins that he can just take me.
Okay, hold on. Let me get the turn
No,
order back up because I think Reckless just shots fired this place. Okay, hold on, because I think honestly you can do that, Rekla, to trigger the round. But let's start with Fen Warden. Fen Warden, I think you might be getting the sense, and having known Rekla for a minute, that he's about to do something. Something's
Yeah.
about to happen. One way or the other, they're either going to. They look now like their demeanor's changed. Rekla looks like he's being put on the spot, that he might do something in a moment. I'll give you a chance to act first, and we'll follow the turn order now.
Okay.
Go for it.
I'm there, and I'm taking out the Spriggan with the shadow sword.
All right.
And he should be flat-footed, right?
Spriggan?
We're attacking.
No, he's on
Yeah.
guard. He's on guard. He's not.
Okay.
He's not flat-footed.
All right. So does that hit, or is that not good enough?
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that roll. I was scrolled up. That hits.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, good. And that does. Let me make sure it's doing it right. Wow, that's 2 dice too. Okay. And he's not my 100 prey. So we'll just take the second attack.
That will miss though. All right. So he's taken a slash from your short sword, and then 1 miss. Okay.
Let's see. Flat-footed striking. Okay. Oh, actually, no, I think it's in there. Okay. No, I'm done.
Okay. No problem. All right, Rekla. So now your spell effect here, your disrupt undead. What happens here with the? How does Rekla deliver this after? Because I guess this is almost like a fraction of a second. In that fraction of a second that you see, also see Fen Warden go into action. Like he knows that you're about to pull the trigger too.
I think it'd be like the undead can't be reasoned with, and then bam, shoots off his disruption spell there.
All right.
So yeah, I was aiming for the center, one in the center.
All right. Let's see. They all have the same, I think, here for fortitude. Okay. I've had critical failures, I think, on 3 out of 4 rolls that I've had.
All saves too.
Yeah. All right.
So on a critical failure, it is also enfeebled 1 for 1 round.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on there for 1 round. Okay. Got it. And then they all took, what was the damage on this? 11?
11 damage.
11 damage, and it's just to him. Okay, got it.
Just to him.
Yep.
And I think with the final action, he will put a little distance between himself. So he's going to get up from the table and step back to the far side of the table.
Got it. All right. So next up is our Spriggin, who has been jumped by the elf, and he is sandwiched between him and Sydney. So he's got 2 targets to consider here, but I think he will very much return fire on Fen Warden. So, and let's see, I got you in there twice. Okay. So he is going to pull out his Morning Star. You just don't see Morning Stars get used frequently enough, to be honest with you. Morning Star
they're
is
fantastic.
one of the
Actually,
coolest weapons.
it's actually Rekla's main weapon, but
It's
he's
yeah.
not much in the melee.
No, yeah, he doesn't get to swing it as much as we need. So we're gonna see some of the Spriggan Morning Star this time. So he's gonna target both of these attacks at Fen Warden. God, here's another fumble. Look at
Miss
that.
and miss, fumble and miss. Yeah.
Let's see, weapon fumble. Roll.
Morning Star. That gets tricky.
Player's non-magical weapon suddenly breaks, becoming unusable. There goes the Morning Star. It's like from the Morning Star just goes like flying off the end of it, and just now it's a club. Now he's literally fighting with a club.
And done.
Yeah.
Morning Star's not even a club; it's a handle.
So the second attack
So it might be a club.
does a 21 hit?
Yeah.
It does.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay. So because he's essentially using a club after that first. So now he's somewhat thrown off by this, and he is going to. Let's see. He's going to step backward beside the undead here, and he looks like he's grabbing for his crossbow. So that's his turn. The next up are our skeletons, the flanking skeletons, I'll call them, first. And they're going to go ahead and try to grab at... This one up here is going to try to grab at Sydney. All right. Oh, shoot. I just deleted them from the turn order by accident. Let's put them back.
I think they were 19, yeah.
There we go. Okay. All right. What in the world do they... Oh, okay. Here we go. 22 on Sydney.
Yes, a 20. My AC is 22. Does
Okay.
a tie hit?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So this will do 9 damage from the sort of slash, the grab of this thing, and then what is the... And now, yeah, so now what is that it is going to reach down and it's going to grab its knife off of the table. So it's got now one hand that's grabbed you, that's clawed you and grabbed you, and now with its other hand it's grabbing a dagger off of the table and trying to turn and swing it into you. Let's see.
Stabbing with a steak knife.
And this thing is... Let's see, what is it? Alright. 23. Okay, so this dagger will do 9 damage. And you...
Does it take any multiple attack penalties?
Yeah, it should. Yeah.
Because that would... Because I think that would knock it down under my AC.
Yeah.
I don't know if that...
Yeah, I think it should take a multiple attack penalty on that. What was the roll? Let's see.
23.
23.
Yeah.
So it should have been done with the second roll, which that would have been... I'm just checking to see what the modifier was. So it should have been -5.
-4.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, so he would have missed. All right, that's good. But he did attempt to grab and stab, basically, and you avoid that. But he does continue to kind of hold on to your arm, and you feel this really cold, unnatural pulse of energy as this thing is holding on to you. It does not feel great. The other skeleton is now, having noticed that this has turned into a free-for-all, he will step towards Dalit and try the same basic attack to grab and stab. So first to grab, he does not. Oops, I rolled the dagger anyway. Should have been the claw. So I'll roll. Hold on, I'm gonna roll this again. The claw is the first attack. It's 21.
That misses.
Okay. And then even though he hasn't grabbed you, the dagger would have the second dagger roll there would have been his attack, and that would have missed as well. Third attack, or no, that would have been it because he already moved. So that's it for that
Yep.
one. Now the other one is enfeebled 1, which I think this is the only round until he'll have enfeebled, and then so he is going to. Let's see. Yeah, okay. He is going to reach down, and you're going to see him lift and pull up, although somewhat maybe struggling given his current enfeebled state. He pulls a longsword up from behind the table. It was leaning against his lap as he sat there. Not something you guys got to really see very well across the rotting table, but now he holds this and wields this, and he is going to, I think, just step away and back towards this corner of the room, and he begins to start to chant something that sounds like it's some, I would say if you have occultism, you don't even have to roll, that you can tell it's some type of Urgothoan chant that's almost like a botched draconic sounding guttural chant. But yeah, so that's where they sit, and then it's Sydney's turn.
For my first action, I would like to use acrobatics to make an escape action.
Ooh.
And that is going to be,
Versus it's what?
it looks like that is against the athletics DC of the creature grabbing me.
Okay.
The DC, so they don't roll it, so it's just whatever their
8.
Yeah, it would be 10 plus 8, so
Yeah.
that's exactly it actually.
All right, you're still
I
feeling
will
grabbed.
I will use a second action to attempt it again.
Aha. There you go.
Sweet. So I am no longer grabbed, and with that, I will run away. But where am I going to run? I'm gonna go. How long has it been since? How long have we been here total?
In this room or in the tower or
Yeah, in the kill tube.
minutes, I would say overall. You guys spilled in through the window, looked around, heard
More than 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes.
a few voices. Wow, that's a good question. We're somewhere right
Probably
in
more.
that
Probably
realm.
more. We
Yeah,
had
we're-
that
yeah, we're right on the cusp
conversation
of
with
that.
the.
We had a lot of talking since we got in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just asking because I had that gecko grip. I was gonna potentially go up the wall. I will go back to this square right here.
All right. Gotcha.
Hey Jamie, I don't see Fenwarden in the turn order anymore. He was there with the 22.
You went first. I had you as a 31. I was wondering, I must have had you in there duplicated because you went first.
Yeah, go first.
So I'm just going to leave you. I'm going to reward you with the first turn order since I screwed that up. You might as well keep it.
There it is. Okay.
But you're back. You should see it now. Okay.
Yep, I got it.
All right. I think was that it for
Yep, that's
Sydney?
all three
You have
actions.
run off
With
here.
apes and a move.
Okay. See, I don't think they're getting an attack of opportunity here as you run away.
They don't anyway. I got
And-
mobility. The
okay.
thief mobility thing.
Okay.
and I moved
Yeah,
half my speed.
they wouldn't have it. All right, Dalit, is your turn.
All right. I'm gonna try doing a trip action here against the guy in front of me. So it's athletics against his reflex DC.
Okay, so 21 is his.
Cool.
Yeah.
So on a success, the target lands prone,
Aha.
falls and lands.
Okay. All right. Let's put
Cool.
him.
And then now I'm gonna ignore him and run to the spell cast, or the guy casting the spell here, and attack him with my sword.
All right. So he's prone, and then now you're charging number 2 in the back corner. Okay, gotcha. I'm with you.
Yep.
Oh, that I believe, is a solid hit. Yes, indeed.
Very
Let's
nice.
see, what is his? Yeah. Okay. 16 piercing. Okay. All right. Yeah, so you've interrupted his chanting by striking him with a really good Aldori sword slash here.
Yup.
And you've moved across the room. Was that it? That's it, right? 3?
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing for me.
Nice. All right, Rekla. Everything's
Well-
happening so quickly.
Rekla's been itching to try out one of these new spells, one of these new 3rd level spells, and he's gonna hit that guy hopefully where it hurts.
Ooh, the good damage roll. If that sticks, let's see.
So I assault the target's faith, riddling with doubt and mental turmoil. It does a will save.
Urgothoa isn't real.
Crisis of faith.
Let's see.
Hey Ben, was the trip successful?
That guy's prone
So-
right now.
He's prone. Okay.
Okay. All right. So it is gonna make a will check. Scraped by.
Ooh,
Scraped by there.
still takes half damage
It
though.
takes half damage.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
And then with final action, he'll cast guidance on Fenwarden since he's up next.
Great. Granting target plus 1 attack roll. Very good. All right.
Nice. So I think that would bring up Fenwarden, yeah.
Great. Finwarden will move to here and take advantage of the prone guy with the shadow sword, which gives him an additional damage if he hits.
But he's not prone, that dude.
Oh, I thought he was the one that.
No,
The other corner.
He bulldozed
prone.
this one over here so that he could get
he tripped
to
him on
this
the
one.
way by. Okay. In that
Nonetheless,
case,
you got him flanked, so.
Oh, that's true. I've got him flanked. That's true. Okay, we'll do that then. All right, we'll do that and go after with the sword.
And you have
Mhm.
guidance.
Yes, guidance. So that's a 19.
You need that. You need that. That hits with the guidance.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Moist.
Yeah. 7. Boy, this sword is doing terribly. It's 2 dice because it's 7, but he gets an additional 1 dice 6.
Okay, you.
An additional 5.
Yeah, as you deal that additional damage with this strike, you see this thing crumble to the ground in a big slump pretty quickly as that additional damage hits it.
Oh,
So
so it's down.
it's down.
Huh.
You still have an action, right?
I do. I'm going to change my hunted prey to the guy that was tripped. And I'm going to use, in a free action, I'm going to yell to Dalit, I'm going after that one. You can go that way.
Okay.
So he
Yeah, this
knows
one's
my
mine.
target.
Yeah, this one's mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Woohoo.
All right, Rekla. Did I have you go twice, Rekla? I think I
No.
might, because I think I have you on my
Yeah,
order
I'm
twice.
at 17.
Oh, okay. So you shouldn't be going now. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I have a couple of you in here twice. Okay. So we're at the Spriggin now.
Yeah.
So the Spriggin, you see, looking, and he's at this point looking at his wound. He did get stabbed by the short sword of the elf, and he's had a moment. He takes a look down at it, and he grunts. And as he grunts, you see the Spriggin enlarge. He becomes about 4 times his normal size, and he looks enraged, and he steps forward trying to go after the elf, and he's going to try to swing at him with his, let's see, does he have another weapon he wants to use? He has his crossbow, so I think his first move would be to shoot his crossbow before he moves. So he's going to do that with his first attack. Don't know that
That
he's
crossbow will just be so tiny in his hands now.
No,
Either
it
is-
says that all of his objects, all of his everything he's carrying changes in size along with him. So his
Oh, he's
everything.
got a ballista.
Yeah, he's now just got this
Yeah.
huge
That's a
crossbow.
money-making scheme, though. Just give him some gold, let him go big, then you got twice as much gold.
All right, that's
a miss?
a miss. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So now he'll step forward. That'll be his second action, and then he will drop his ballista and
He doesn't use an action to grow bigger.
actually, this is a reaction that should have taken place already, but I didn't have him grow big right away. But it's a reaction for him. So his last action will then just be to swing his former Morning Star and now club at you. That's not right. It should be the second one. 18, which will miss. All right.
That's a miss.
Yeah, so he's just looks like he's focused on you and he's enlarged himself. And it is now the Untitled champions here. All right, so these guys are gonna see. I think they're going to join in. This one's gonna get himself up from the prone position first. He's going to return to this corner and go after Dalit, who knocked him over impolitely. Let's see. And this is
That's okay.
22 gets you? Okay. So you'll take 7 damage from the slashing. Let's see. And one other. Let's see. Okay. I think he has one more. No, he doesn't. Okay, that's it. Okay, so then the other one should be able to do the same thing. He's going to come back towards this corner as well and seems to be focused on Dalit. So he is 1 action to climb in there. 2 is going to be a claw. And 3 is going to be a claw. Looks like a miss, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right. They are surrounding you, but not doing much to you at the moment. I think we're now past them to Sydney.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him with my heavy crossbow for action number 1, and I am gonna shoot the Spriggin.
Okay. Wow, that's a hit. And
Wow, that might be the first time I've ever hit with the crossbow.
thunk! You hit the giant gnome. It's oxymoron.
And then I will use telekinetic project. Actually, you know what? It's on. We're gonna use this, and I am going to shock both the Spriggin and the skeleton next to him.
All right. Each target takes 2d4 electric damage, reflex save. Okay. You're saying that they would both be okay. So one of them failed, one of them passed, and he takes 8. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the first damage that those champion skeletons, the flanking skeletons, I'll call them, have taken. But you definitely do some damage there. Anything else?
Nope, that's my 3 actions.
All right. I think Dalit.
Cool. Okay. So
Target rich environment for you.
yeah, and I am. You have no idea how excited I am right now. I have feats.
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
What?
It's so great. All right. Anyway, I'm using my swipe feet to attack
All
the
three of them.
skeleton champion and the Spriggin who are standing next to each other. I'm going to use my Dory dueling sword here. You know what? For the fun of this, I'm going to hero point that roll.
Yeah. Very
Oh,
nice.
that's beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh.
All right.
Oh my god.
So this is the one that's above you here?
What this? Oh yeah, I was targeting. Let me get the drawing thing real quick. These two.
I'm not seeing. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Totally didn't mean to actually draw that.
Those two. Oh, okay. All right. So let me just double check how this works again real quick.
Roll damage once and apply
Apply
it to each
creature. Swipe counts as 2 attacks for the multiple attack penalty. And you did 32. Okay.
So hit both.
Yeah, it
So
hit both, and it does a big
critical.
chunk of damage to both. So
32 to each.
yeah,
64 points of damage with the first attack. That's pretty impressive.
yeah, that's pretty impressive. I'll say that, yeah, the Spriggan looks like he took the worst of it. He's feeling it after that hit for sure. But it is, you got one more, right?
Yeah, and then with the next one, because hold on a second, I got the Titan Wrestler feat too. So then I'm going to pair that with my combat grab and attack the Spriggan.
So grabby.
Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
That is a hit. All right, he will actually fall from that hit.
Okay, then you do the combat grab, but
Yeah,
I'll take it.
he actually expires here. I'm gonna just use that one for here.
Wow.
Yeah, so nicely done. Nicely done. A lot of damage that round for sure. 70 something points of damage in 2 actions.
Saw everything coming together there, was so excited.
Yeah, the pieces were in place. All right,
Uh-huh.
Rekla.
All right, Rekla is going to target this skeletal champion with a disrupt undead.
That.
Did it go through? There it is.
There we go. All right, he
Damage.
fails that. So he's gonna take the 15. All right, got it.
And then final action, he will give Fenwarden guidance again.
All right. All right, perfect. So back to Fenwarden.
I've got to see how far I can move here. Go here. Oops. Here, 25. Perfect. That's how far I can move. So you'll do that. This is the guy that he had targeted as, or he had done his hunt prey. So now he's taking an attack with the short sword. And he has guidance, so +1 on this. 24. And first attack on my hunted prey, so an additional 4. So 16 points.
Sorry, I got a call there for a second.
Yep, no big deal.
16. Okay.
16 total. Yeah, he on a 23. 23 is not a critical, I assume. No, sure it's not.
No.
Okay, so he's got one more attack with the short sword, which doesn't do much.
Okay. All right. Good.
All right.
Good round though. 2 out of 3 did some damage, and you've got yourself another flank here with an enemy. So I think the Spriggan has expired. We're now back to the skeletons. So this skeleton here, who has just been pummeled by Dalit, is going to he's going to reach down with his first action and grab and pick up the longsword from his fallen friend, and then he's going to swing said longsword at Dalit.
I should have grabbed that. Should have thought of that.
Let's see. Okay, I think that's right. Missing. It's hard. He's hard to hit. The second one hit though.
Yep.
So 8 damage from a longsword slash to Dalit. And then that is it for that skeleton. The other skeleton, who has now been focused on by Fenwarden, will reflect that energy back and try to grab at Fenwarden with a claw. Missing and...
Fumble.
Oh, okay. Fumbling on the first one, which I think in this case he might stumble. We'll see what happens.
Fenwarden's pretty hard to hit when he's got a shield up. So.
Yeah, this is really not a weapon fumble, but he would take the -1 to AC. Okay. That is 1 attack, 2 attacks. Right? Yeah, 1, 2. I don't think he's going to try to take a third attack. I think he will step this way towards Dalit and towards the corner and his fallen friend as well with his last action, which means it's now Sydney's turn.
I will hit him with the electric arc again. Notably, I'm not conceal spelling, so there's that happening.
This would be one target here or two targets?
Both.
Okay. Okay.
2 targets as long as they're within
Reflex.
30 feet. Oh, I have to get a little closer, so my first action would have to be to step up.
Gotcha.
I will step up to there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's within 50.
And
So.
looks like they both fail. So they're both going to take the 6 damage. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
again,
so you see Sydney run up and shoot lightning out her hand. It hits one skeleton and then jumps around Dalit and hits the other one.
Good trick.
the Spriggan, by the way, I should note, has shrunk back down to his normal size upon dying. All right.
Let the air right out of that guy.
Yeah.
Just shrivels up.
Then I think we're at Dalit.
Wow, do not really have a plan. All right, I'm just gonna attack this one, since I believe the other one was the one Fed Morton called Bibs on.
All right. That's a hit. And that's
No.
16 points. Which one? I'm sorry, again, was it? The one on the
That's one, the top one.
Okay, that will actually be enough to drop this one as well and spill the longsword again to the ground. So yeah, so this one falls.
All right, so I guess I'll just turn to the one below me and try to
Send him on his way too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I would say. Oh man, you know what it is too. So this thing has exactly that much damage left, and so what I'm gonna say is that you grab this thing as you hit it and grab it. It's on the cusp of losing its unnatural life force, and it's looking you in the eyes and says, "You're not one of us." It just
Good point.
expires. So that is it.
You're
You
very
have
good.
cleared the immediate threat with that.
Okay.
And I think with that, if we could just take a real quick mid-session break here, and we'll come back and see what else is laying around here.
Cool.
All right, cool. Be
Sounds
right
good.
back. All right, I think everyone's back. Having dispatched the welcome party, the undead welcome party here, you now stand over the corpses and remains of one Spriggan, who has a broken morning star. He has a crossbow. He has 15 bolts for the crossbow. He wears what is this armor? This chain armor. And what else does he have on him? That's it. Okay, just looking to see if there was anything else. That's all on the Spriggan. I'm gonna dispatch of his body as I run through each of them. The skeletal champion, or that's what the equivalent is of that undead. They have the longsword. They're all wearing, and they're human sized, but they're all wearing what looks to be like a custom made leather armor with some accents of chain mixed in with it. So it's a nice looking, well made, well crafted leather armor that would be a little bit better than regular leather, more like a studded leather. And it's, though unfortunately, emblazoned with emblems of the Urgothoan symbols, and so I think that's the only bad part about it, as you would be probably
Yeah,
like lamenting that.
unless someone wants a costume for the rest of this
Yeah.
trip.
You also there would be 3 daggers.
Absolutely gonna throw that on. Yeah. I have studded leather, so I will switch it up. And now I have studded leather with Urgothoa on it.
That'll be a bonus on your deception check.
Yeah, could be. You got the 3 daggers. There were 3 daggers total. There's the goblets. There's 4 goblets total. The one goblet is the one that shows as magical, which is the one that was held by Sydney already. Let's see, what else is in here?
Can somebody take a peek at the daggers for magic, please?
Yeah, I have detect magic up, so anything that detected is magic.
Yeah, if you remember, I think you may have seen these before when you were at the Lonely Barrow, some of their gear. And I'm looking to see what else there would have been here. I think just on their bodies, I'm trying to see first before I describe some other stuff. Yeah, so the daggers would reveal as being magical as well, and they would glow with a necrotic power. And you know
I'm
that
gonna
I think most of
those.
you that had seen them before would remember that these were ritual daggers. So they're like a curvy, jagged looking dagger. I think somebody had found one of these once before. So it's
I got
definitely,
stabbed by one.
it adds, if anything, it adds to the costume idea that you would have the ritual dagger with you. It's the other part of the costume. But
There's two of them, you said? Two of
there's,
those daggers?
no, there's 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'll grab those and like one of those and that cup too.
Okay.
I think Sydney would have been the only one wise to that one being magical, anyways.
Potentially. But yeah, I don't both the dagger. I'll let you both know. I'll let you guys know that the daggers are magical. Here, boss.
And what about the
Dagger
longsword?
with
I
silence.
assume it's magical.
So 2 for the party loot, but I use a dagger.
Yeah.
Make sure if
Rocco
you
carry
take
one of
it,
the
just,
daggers, too.
and if you're gonna ever use it, just make sure you have it clearly,
A
either
note.
clearly added as a separate item, or just make sure you're remembering it as a different thing.
And Sydney, is the longsword also giving magic?
I don't think so. Is the longsword magical?
The longsword is not.
Do I detect anything else as being magical?
Let's see, anything else in here? I think you would start to almost notice that some of the feast that is on the table, it is an illusion. After
Okay.
you've had this much time in the room, and it's still there. It's still there. Like there's real bits and there's fake bits. It would be one way to describe it. And so you would detect after a while that is an illusion partly on the table.
Artificial additives.
Yeah, there's some tapestries on the walls in here, just like candelabras and things like that that sit around the room, but there's nothing else that really catches your attention in this immediate area.
Does anything strike me as particularly valuable as opposed to anything else? Is that like very nice, or is it all like decayed as I would expect in this kind of environment?
All the gear, all the metal work, everything there is very finely crafted. The armor that they're wearing is extremely finely crafted. The tapestries on the wall have seen better days. They wouldn't carry any real value other than to Urgothoans. They're pretty specifically. I guess that would be probably it. Other than that, everything else.
I'm not trying to strip the walls or anything. I'm just having a
Yeah.
quick glance around with the eyes of a thief, right? The eyes of somebody who's used to.
Yeah, I think it would be yeah, as far as armor itself is probably the one of the finest things like in the room, I would say.
That's awesome
Yeah.
because I just had starter armor. Now I've got Urgothoan. It's not magical though, correct? It's just normal studded.
Right, it's not. Yeah.
Yep. Nope. Sounds good.
All right, anyone else have any questions or ideas that they want to run by the party?
No, there was no coins or any money on them.
No, there was really no gold or anything like that in here, so nothing to speak of in that regard.
All right, no more.
All right, let me move these guys. All right, so what are you guys thinking now? Don't think many of you took much in the way of damage, really, but you exhausted a few skills and stuff.
Yeah, I think we fought our way in. We need to go now. Go in.
What's the plan, boss? You pulled the trigger.
Well,
I assume that that's a wall at the bottom of the picture that we can't see past next to and Ben Warden.
There's a wall there. So down here is an
Oh.
opening. There's an opening, and then you can.
Okay.
That's your only other way out, other than back up the stairs.
Okay. Shall we go there, guys?
we came to check out the Urgothoans, and I think we found them, so let's
Yeah.
One thing I'll say about the I did want to mention about the longsword is it's not magical, but it's made from a black iron that gives it a unique look. So it's got more of a unique look. It might be worth 3 or 4 times more than a normal longsword, given the material it's made from, but it's not necessarily going to do anything more or make it easier to hit. But yeah, you guys want to venture further into this space?
You want me to look
Okay.
ahead, boss, or do we want to all go ahead, or do we want to cover our rear? What's the plan? We're in the middle here. Do I hear anything upstairs in terms of draconic or anybody, any alert or anything like that?
You can take a moment to perceive that if anyone wants to roll perception here. That's a good question. We should have
Yeah.
everybody
Plus
pause.
2 on plus. Ben Warden will be careful, so he gets +2 on his, which doesn't help much.
Yeah, so I think for those rolls, I don't think, yeah, you guys really notice anything coming from the stairwell. Noise-wise, doesn't seem to be anything moving or noticeable. Now that the chatter of this little party has been turned off, it's pretty dull. You can hear the fire, what you assume to be the fire, burning on the other side of the wall in the chimney. So it's vibrating, and you can hear that maybe
What
muffled roar.
what is this? Is this just a wall with a weird shape to it?
Yeah,
Is this another wall?
this is like the wall in this room is like a twisted, like odd shape to it. Like it wasn't probably made. It's not doesn't look naturally made.
Doesn't look handmade. Doesn't look like
Yeah,
it's made by.
like some process or something caused this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Would I understand it to be like probably a magical process, or
If you want to do an Arcana check, I think that would be a good way of explaining how much you would know. Yeah, you basically know that the Urgothoan magic will start to mutate things around it. And what you expect you're seeing here with some of the structure inside is that it's starting to get more mutated, as if you're getting closer to a source of Urgothoan power, influence,
I
whatever.
will convey that to the group and be like, "Hey, boss, you see that weird? It's going to get more weird. They've been here for a while."
Yeah. That's what we were expecting.
We heading on?
Yep.
I will stealth to that spot right there and take a look in the next room. Right there.
All right. So in this room, you start to see a few smaller storage area that have some of the things that you remembered glancing quickly upstairs in the Spriggins space. I think just given the layout, you're starting to get the sense that the Spriggins may be trading with the Urgothoans in this space, and this is maybe some of the goods that are being traded to the Spriggins from the Urgothoans that's on hand. So you imagine that where you're standing right now, Spriggins aren't allowed to be. I think that again, you get a whole different sense of the way the things are stored and the way it's like this weird mixture of rotted and decaying containers that have something inside of it of value mixed with other things that are just cracked and split, but it definitely doesn't look what you saw upstairs in terms of its condition. That's what you're assuming is happening here. And
does any of it detect as magical as I like walk through?
I'm going to keep working my way around the room.
let's see. So yeah, you actually see an area in here with a small lockbox. And
I'll immediately go to it.
the
Like
lockbox
6 seconds go to it.
No
has
hesitation.
yeah, it's got a lock on it that gets your attention like right away. Let's see what else would there be in here. You see a small glass vial, and if you check that out, it does appear to be a potion.
Can I identify that potion real quick?
Sure.
I'm most interested in that lockbox, but I'm gonna hand the potion off to somebody. What do I roll to?
I think, isn't it an Arcana
Okay.
check? I think you have to
Alright.
beat it by a certain amount for the item, per the item, yeah.
I didn't know if it was like a nature. I didn't know if it depended on what the potion was of and all that jazz.
Yeah, in this case, it's easy for you to identify. It is a lesser healing potion, but still a useful identification.
Anyone need a healing potion? And I like hand it back as I go to the lockbox.
Yeah, I
I'm like
think,
very specifically
yeah.
like going in, grabbing the thing, and then going in, like not even messing with any of the other shit.
Let's see. Okay, so yeah, so what do you want to do here with that?
I'm gonna check out the lockbox, see if it's trapped. If it's not trapped, I'm going to attempt to pick the lock.
Okay. I think it's, what is it? Thievery? Or
It is
to check for
thievery to pick the
traps?
lock. I think that what is the? I don't know that one. To check for traps. The picking the lock is thievery. I don't know what check traps is.
Forget what the exact
I would
thing
think
is.
it's
If it's
thievery also.
probably thievery. It says perception, thievery, depending on what it is. So
Could be, yeah, if it's a
13
physical
for
trap,
that.
crafting.
Yeah.
oh, I see. So they're saying like if you're just seeking it out, you could use perception. But you did a good roll with your thievery, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, that would be the same thing. It's just a matter of, are you trained in that, because you'd be like specialized. So you,
Okay.
yeah, you're able to find that there is no trap on this.
Then I will attempt to pop the lock.
Okay. You can try. This
And
is,
I have thieves' tools. So you see Sydney pull out some thieves' tools and attempt to pop the lock.
yeah, let me check how that is against the DC of this lock. Where was it? Yeah, so it does pop open for you. You can flip the chest open and take a look inside. You find, see, 75 gold.
Hey Fenwarden, you said you were looking for some coin? And I pull up the bag of coin or whatever. If it's loose, I'll just pick up like a handful and drop it back in
Very
into
nice.
the shop.
For our treasury.
What else is in here? There's a there is a Urgothoan holy symbol laying amongst this coin.
Definitely. I gotta complete the set.
That's, yeah, the triad, right? The full triad. And then what else is there? I'm sorry. There's a scroll.
Is it immediately apparent what the scroll is of? What do I need to roll?
I think, let's see, to identify a scroll, I think it's Arcana.
I think it depends on the school, so that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, it does appear to be like
Yeah.
arcane, not.
I'm trained in all of them, so just
Yeah.
whatever. Just
Okay.
let me know where to roll.
Yeah, so then the scroll, what else did I tell you? And there's another potion in here. So you can try to identify the potion as well. The scroll is, what is this?
And that's for the potion, that last one.
This is a scroll of haste.
Ooh.
And for the potion, it is a, this is a moderate healing potion.
Another healing potion?
Yeah,
This one's a moderate.
this one's moderate, so this one's going to do what, 3d8.
And I'm literally just like pulling the stuff out and handing it out. That scroll, I guess Sydney will jam it in her book.
Anyone else have,
I think I'm the only one that can use that.
yeah, anyone else have any interest in grabbing or using any of this stuff you're finding?
Definitely can take a healing potion. Fenwarden tends to be weak on that, so.
Reckless all right.
Yeah. I already have healing potions.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
should get those.
You want the minor or the mod? Here, take the moderate, and I'll take the minor.
Okay, moderate. Thank you.
Yep. And assuming that nothing else detects is magical, the gold too, Fenwarden, or whoever's taking party.
Reckless our
think-
accountant. Yeah.
But where are you is everyone like going through this together, or what are the rest of you doing while, are you all just,
I think Rekla would have been more interested in looking at the space and seeing what's around and paying attention to the surroundings.
so
Yeah. Fenwarden will be pretty much just keeping guard with his short bow.
Yeah.
let's have everyone do perception checks from this space.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Oh goodness.
He's still hyped from
It's-
crushing two things to death.
I think it's still ringing in his ear that He's not one of us. He's not one of us. So ringing this. But the Sydney will notice that as you're going through all this, that you catch a glimpse of what looks like a hidden door
No.
over here.
I'll head right to it. Just the same way I was with all the items. I went into the box and dug down, pulled out the potion, went over to the lockbox immediately and started pulling it apart. And then as soon as I'm done, I didn't even take the gold out. I'd be like, Fenwarden, here's your gold. And here's a potion for you. And then I'll just immediately
And
go
it's
to the door.
hey, don't forget it's a really nice chest.
Oh, yeah.
So you find this little
Is it big
what
though? How
looks
big
like
is it? Is it like a small lockbox?
no, you could carry it. It's small. It's I would say like a smaller to medium sized lockbox. So you
It's
could
on you,
easily
darling, if you want
carry quite a bit more in it than 75 gold, but not that much more.
There you go.
Oops.
Not gonna carry that around for the whole.
The lock itself
Oh,
too.
yeah.
The lock itself too has value. So that just like all of it together is one thing, but doesn't matter. I just wanted to mention that. But
No, I appreciate it. I'll let them decide how aggressively they want to live.
for means of spotting this doorway, you could go and take a closer look at it, and I'll have you make a roll. I think another thievery check here would be
Yeah, I was gonna
appropriate.
say I'm gonna
Yeah.
check it for traps and then see if I can figure out how to pop it. So there's to check.
Yeah. Yeah, so you do sense that there is some type of trap here, I guess that you would call it. And what it seems like it might do is that it may make a noise by opening the door. Looks like there is something behind the door that might release and strike and make a sound if the door is pulled forward as it seems to be around.
I let him know that there might be an alarm on the door, and I asked him, "Hey, boss, might be an alarm on the door. You want me to pop it nonetheless? I think I got it."
Anybody have any solution for silencing the or disabling?
Mm.
I'll
No.
try and disable the trap with the thievery.
Okay. Yeah, this is a DC 21.
Have a little guidance.
There you go. You
Didn't need it.
easily are able to at least, we'll say that you can release the hammer portion of this so that it won't swing.
I've got that telekinetic projectile and that telekinesis hand or whatever, and I use it through on the other side to hold it for literally as I pop it and kind of catch the whatever was gonna let go and like slowly release it so it doesn't quite make the noise. Just like a little
Yeah.
Fenwarden wants to take a position so when he opens the door, he can basically shoot over his shoulder or whatever. I'm not sure which direction the door is facing, but he wants to be directly in line behind him.
It looks like it's gonna pull open towards you, Fenwarden. Yeah, and now from there you'll have a better angle.
Very
Okay.
good
And
angle.
I do. I pull the door open.
All right. Let me go to the right layer here. Oh, I don't know if this will work or not. It says it's gonna restrict your movement. I'll see if that worked or not. Are you able to move?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you could still move. So this door is gonna be opened, and as you pull this door open, it starts to stink in the room. You don't even have to roll perception for that. The wafting of this and the smell just is of this just fresh decay. And so in that room that's beyond you, you don't see or hear anything through there. So you can poke your head in, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I'll poke my head in.
So in this next area, it looks like there is an altar, and the altar has a few candles burning, so there's like a dim glow in this room. And as you walk in, you can look around and see that it's pretty barren except for this pretty decorative altar to Urgothoa, where, like I said, it's candle lit and appears to be probably used in passing as a ritual. You can do
I
perception
can't
checks
see
here.
into the room on the map, but am I within? Am I
Oh,
close enough
let's
to
see.
the altar to detect magic? It's detect if it's magical or if there's anything magical around it.
Here, let's. Can you see in the room now? Can anyone see in the room? Let's see.
I
No.
can't get
I
into
can't
the
move
room
into the
from
room
this
either.
wall.
Okay.
I can if I move around in different ways.
That's weird.
Oh yeah, I
If you
can.
come around
There
from
we go.
that
If I
side,
come this
yeah.
way,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, somebody just went through the other wall. That's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
we
yeah.
can go through that side.
Okay,
if
yeah,
you're-
you can move into here. I don't know why it's restricting you, but I was just wondering. It did say when I went to add the doors that it would restrict your movement, which I guess means I have to be the one to push you into that room. So you're all able to file in here and see this, again, pretty nice as far as quality concerned craftsmanship altar to Urgothoa, although the fact it's disturbing and the goddess of decay and rot, the rest of it seems to be like a foyer to where it leads to another door across the room on this wall.
I will head to that door, check it for traps, and
So as you start to walk past the altar, you can kind of all hear this as you is taking a step and you're getting more closer to the center of the room. You can hear that chanting, that same chanting sound, but from multiple voices, like a chorus of voices, and it grows louder as you walk towards and past the altar and towards the door, to the point that by the time you get to the door, it's so loud in your ears that you're going to have to roll a willpower save to go a step further.
To continue further.
okay, I will fight the deafening chanting to try and check out the door.
So you won't be able to.
Not doing it, boss.
you
I'll
won't-
hero war that. I'll hero point that. We're almost done with the session.
There you go. So yeah,
Sydney's on.
despite this ringing in your ear, you make it to the door, but it's loud and it's disturbing, right? It's like feels like it's a warning, another type of warning potentially. But yeah, you make it to.
Is it intelligible? Do I understand the language or anything like that?
It's no, it's very specific to this cult. It's very specific to this cult. If you want to make an occultism check to see if any of it resonates just with other knowledge you have of occultism, if anyone else does too. Let's see. You might remember that usually to enter a building that is where worshippers of Urgothoa are, that it's common to put something that's rotting.
And I will. Is there anything on the altar that's rotting?
No, not presently.
Okay. Hey, I'll be right back, boss. And with my 15-foot movement, I will 1 action, 2 action, 3 action to the table, grab some shit. So I'm back in about 10 seconds. Lickety split.
Yeah, with yeah, this is
With some rotty nasty.
undead Uber Eats here.
Yeah.
So you run off and grab this and bring it back, and what are you gonna do with this?
I am going to hold it out to the door, and I'm gonna have 2 of them actually, like grab 2 handfuls of shit. I'm gonna throw 1 on the altar as I go by, and
Okay,
then
yeah.
and then take the other one with me up to the door.
Okay, yeah. Upon doing that, the chanting subsides for all of you. Putting the flesh on the altar immediately brings the voice out of your head, and you can now think straight and proceed across the room to the door without any negative effects. At the door, you're gonna check it.
Yeah, first I'm gonna I'll check it first, and then I guess, are there any traps?
This door does not appear to be trapped.
Okay, then I'm gonna take the other. Hold up, guys, and this is the part you don't really know about, and I'm gonna do with the fleshy bit, the more decayed bit. I'm gonna make the symbol of Urgothoa on the door, like it's actually doing something to try and show off, because like Sydney's on a roll here, so she's gonna keep it going. And then I'm gonna try to open the door
All right.
because I don't think it's trapped.
Yeah. As you try to open this door, it does not seem to want to open.
Is it locked?
Appears to be.
All right, I'm gonna get out my. Oh, I can't think.
Pick.
Lock pick. Yeah, my picks and attempt to pop the lock.
All right,
Pop the
yeah.
lock, bitch.
Yeah, you get the lock to click here, and you feel like you can pull this door open now.
We ready to go? And then I'll just, before I even hear a response, I'm gonna just. pull the door open.
I would
For
imagine you
someone who
would.
didn't want to go to the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, Scott.
For someone who didn't want to go to the murder tube, you sure are anxious to.
Yeah. I think we
He's
should
in a
just let him
hurry.
go and
He's
let
in a
him
hurry
go.
to.
The quicker we get done, the quicker we're back out under the sun.
Yeah, he's determined to
Need
find
kills.
out. He's determined to find out. I feel like here. So,
Plus, it's Sydney quick, not Sydney slow.
but this door opens for you, and behind it you
There.
see another spiral staircase leading downward.
And I will, Sydney will hold the door, pull it open like this, like she's a doorman. Boss, after you. I believe this is where we're trying to go. But I will stand at the door and wait for the party to move forward or not move forward or whatever they decide.
Yeah,
they
what's
wanna
the
do.
party thinking here?
Oh, I think we definitely go down the stairs. Dalit, you want to go first? Or you want me to?
Now I'll take point.
Okay.
I will try to stealth my way down these stairs now.
Okay.
Give him
And
8.
Fenwarden's going to be right behind him doing the same.
I can move through the doorway, but I'll move up to
He
it.
only trips and falls into it.
Before we go down, I'm gonna go back and go to this door here, the secret door, and close it again, just in
There you
case
go.
the Spriggins come. Hopefully they can't figure out where the hell we went.
Are you going to reset the noise trap?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to. Because I don't want it to go off anyway. Is it on this side of the door, and would it be easy to undo again?
Yeah, it's this side of the door that.
Then yeah, I will reset that trap.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Dalit will lead the way. What's the who's in the back? I guess I'll just ask the front and back and assume the other two are somewhere.
I'll be in the back because I was mucking the door back here.
Okay.
I'm gonna get that door fixed.
All right, Dalit, I'll move you into here then as the first at the top, and then trying to get you all
Then
up
Warden's
into the
behind him.
staircase. Okay. There we go. Yeah, you got stuck on that door, didn't you? Let's see.
Yeah, those doors.
Dang. There we go. Okay.
Tricky.
All right. So yeah, so you're in this similar looking, but a little bit more dilapidated and worn the staircase is than the area where you were up above. It seemed like it was much more polished and finely crafted, or at least maintained. Maybe at one point it was all the same, you're starting to think, but with as dilapidated as this is starting to look, it looks warped, like some of the steps even are warped. And so you make your way down, but as you're doing so, you're trying to remain somewhat stealthy, and that's not going so well for you as a group. So you're definitely noticing that you're echoing down the hallway a little bit, and very likely can be heard if that matters. But you make your way down to the next level. Let me see. And here, the side of the staircase just opens up wide to this big kind of open up loft almost section of the room where there's multi levels that you can see from this vantage point in the room. And it looks like strewn across a lot of this are some alchemy looking and apothecary type supplies and stations. So that's your first impression of this space. I'm going to have you roll perception, please.
I'm very distracted by the alchemy stuff. That looks very interesting.
All right. Dalit, you notice that there is someone across the room tinkering in the corner with some of these bottles and supplies. Looks like he's got his back towards you, and you're the first to notice him, the only one to really notice him at first. Right now, this thing hasn't either detected you or acknowledged that you're behind him.
I'll tell the others that we're not alone and that there's somebody across the way from us. Are these stairs down?
Yeah, they go down and up. It goes up to these. It's got multi levels in this floor.
Okay.
So it goes down to the lower level where he is. He's on the lower level with his back towards you. You're on that mid level where you can go up or down, and up above you, you haven't had a good view of yet. So where
Okay.
that leads exactly.
We're on the mezzanine
But
level here.
yeah, yeah, it's exactly in that little mid zone there.
Okay. I'll move to the stairs for now.
All right. I think you can move. Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're in that again. I think you were good on your stealth roll. And so you get out to this point, and you're starting to feel like you're a little more exposed. But you look up, and you can see in this direction that there is a glow. And let me add something to the map. Let's see.
I'll point up and down and question to the rest of the group which way we would like to go.
What you see at the top of the steps, it seems like it goes and leads to a slit where you can see behind it like some flame. And so you're starting to feel like this might be a view into the source of the flame from the top of the
The
step.
smoking tower, yeah. Some sort of forge or something.
Do we want to go up or down? Sort of motion to the group, pointing up and down.
Thin Warden's gonna say he's not sure, but point down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reclo. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll work my way
So let me
down. Start working my way down.
Yeah, I'll have you guys, since you're all know you're trying to sneak yourselves down the staircase, go ahead and roll stealth checks here.
Also, take my sword out on the way down.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
I've got my crossbow.
I'm gonna hero point my stealth check there.
Don't want to trip down the stairs.
It's considerably better. Let's see who
Thanks,
else.
Rekla. I didn't want Sydney to have the worst stealth score. That would have definitely impacted her ego.
Yeah, and I think in this particular case, you're noticing that the sound in here it is difficult to hear. You're having a little bit of trouble because the sound of that fire, it's like constant roaring and rumbling coming from behind that northern wall. And so you're able to make your way down to the bottom of the steps without apparently being detected. This As you're getting closer and you're all getting this clearer vantage point of the room, you're starting to get the sense that something really wicked's going on here, that the Urgothoans are making something, that they're using the forge to craft something. And the forge itself, you're starting to get the sense, was probably made by the gnomes.
Mm.
And that somewhere along the line, the gnomes or the Urgothoans found out that the gnomes had this efficient structure, that they had this capability, and it became some type of unnatural alliance here that they made. And you can start to see that this is like completely Urgothoan down here. Everything is just in this state of disarray, it seems, but at the same time it makes sense. Like you can see what they're doing very clearly through all the decay and mess and clutter. But yeah, this guy's got his back to you. You make it to the bottom of the steps. He doesn't seem to be concerned or reacting to your approach here. So what's your next move? I'll move you guys into this little corner behind.
Yeah.
So this appears to be the whole
I'm going to
thing.
stay on the steps.
Whole thing feels evil to us, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The whole Urgothoan, the fact that the Urgothoans are using this, I think probably the thing you might be wondering would be what is it exactly that they're crafting. There's definitely some type of ichor or thick
I'm shooting him in the
syrupy
back.
liquor or liquid that they seem to be extracting and using in some of this open area.
Oh,
So There's an arrow in his back now. Fenwarden doesn't feel good about the situation. He's feeling uncomfortable.
Okay, so you're shooting at this guy? Alright.
You
Alright,
guys have
so
got us all trigger happy.
And
he
if
wants to
shoots, I'll
end
shoot.
this session on a he doesn't want to be caught in suspense for next session. Let's see, let me real quickly just go
Okay.
ahead
Let's roll
and
initiative.
roll initiative, and then let's run through this because he may or may not. There we go. A couple.
Dang.
You're killing the initiative right now.
What?
All right.
Fenwarden's
All
really
right. So
excited.
Fenwarden, you took a composite longbow strike towards this guy, and you hit him. You definitely hit him with that attack. So
Yeah, it was a 100 aim, so it's a 20. That maybe it's a critical. That's a 26, and he's flat-footed.
that would be no. It'd be close though.
Hmm.
Okay, so you definitely stick him with an arrow. What else are you doing here then? You got another.
It's, yeah, 8 plus his first hit on his 100 prey is another 8,
Okay.
and I think he's got one more
Yeah.
attack,
Yeah. I
one
think.
more action. He'll just spend another arrow on him, which doesn't do much.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you've given this guy a hit to the back. Rekla, you see that happen pretty much in the split second. What's your reaction? What's your action, I should say?
I think he'll just hit him with daze. So he's got a will save. DC 21.
All right. Failed that miserably.
It's critical failure, so he takes crit damage of 8 and is also stunned 1.
Okay.
Oh.
8 and stunned 1. There you go. Now you're talking.
We go take this bad guy down. He didn't even know what happened.
All right. Stunned 1.
And
All right.
then final action, he'll give guidance to Dalit.
All right. Dial us up.
Dalit will move over here, I think, and then just attack. That one.
That hits with guidance.
Cool.
It still hits.
And then I will do the combat grab. Try for that one, but I think that one misses.
Okay. All right. Sydney, you see this unfolding quickly in front of you
Yeah.
from the staircase?
Yep, I am going to shoot the crossbow that I already had trained on this individual, ready to go.
Ooh. Slams in the bolt to its back, doing 9 more points. Okay. All right.
And then I am going to. Is he still up? I assume he's still
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. He's.
I am going to, with my last 2 actions, cast telekinetic projectile, and I'm going to take a piece of a bottle, an empty bottle that's on the table, and huck it up at his face.
Okay. Okay.
This guy would certainly be disoriented, that's for sure. What just happened?
Telekinetic projectile. Let's see. So you got a 22. Yeah, that would hit. Oh man. Okay. So you hit
And
him
that's my.
with this substance that he seems to be brewing, and he's in some phase of brewing or processing this stuff, and you're able to throw one of these open containers at him and it splash and spray him with this as well. So I think that is definitely where he was already probably shrieking in some pain from all the sudden attacks. And if he had the chance to even utter anything, but from this, it's definitely there's like an utterance that you hear that he's still alive, but he's really almost been caught completely by surprise. So he, I think, is going to turn, and in this state, he is going to throw some of the remaining containers around in this area. So I'm going to see if he's able to try to do that first. Let's see. 1 second here. This is cool. He's got this thing called the Fanatical Frenzy.
Okay.
Okay. He basically is in a frenzy at this point, and he is going to be throwing and spraying the room with this liquid that he's standing on and near with the remaining containers. So this is going to be... He's going...
He is stunned one, so he's only got 2 actions.
Yeah, he's gonna throw one. I guess this is... Who's this next to him? Dalit?
Okay.
He's gonna throw one at you first, and he... Let's see, what does he need to hit here? All right. He rolls a nat 1 with it. He rolls a nat 1 with it. Okay, let me see what happens here, because this could be big. The character stumbles and misses the attack while simultaneously dropping it, so spilling the contents within the 10-foot perimeter. Okay. So unfortunately, he didn't mean to hit you, but he did spray the floor with this stuff. And let's see, I think in your case, you can make a reflex save here to the spilling. All right, so unfortunately, you do get some of this on you, but he misses entirely with his attempt to try to splash it on you. But this is now just dripping on your legs, and at this point doesn't seem to have any like noticeable effect. So the other throw he's going to turn and make is going to be back in this direction behind him. So it's going to be towards Rekla and Fenwarden. He's going to try to spray your direction with some of this substance. And I guess this is just going to be one attack against the both of you. And this should be... Okay, yeah. 26 probably hits you.
Yep.
I'll hit Fenwarden, yeah. He doesn't have a shield, so yeah.
Okay, so this is this kind of black ichor. We'll wrap up here in a second too. I know we're at time, but it's like this refined substance that they've been making inside of here. It's like it's got a very necrotic energy about it. Obviously, it's been made through some type of infusion that they're doing in here, and when that stuff hits you, it starts to drain life force in a different way. It's not like acid or something like that burns you necessarily. It's just really sucking life force from you. So let's see. Guess you guys are gonna make reflex checks here, please. There you go. That's a good one. Okay, so Fenwarden, you're able to get yourself in a position where this stuff just gets on like your side. Maybe, I don't mean to say you're using the gnome as cover, but maybe just naturally here, the gnome blocked some of it. And unfortunately for Rekla, some of it did get you on your face and skin. So you start to feel definitely like this life drain, negative energy type of damage that's occurring to you. And you're going to...
damage.
Yeah, you're going to take 17 points of damage from this.
He has a reaction to that.
Okay. Blood vendetta. That's right. How dare they spill your blood? Will save? Let's see.
The nerve.
Great. Blood starts to spew out of the wounds that we just gave him.
Fails his will save. So he will take what? 2d6? Or 2d6. Does he take that now? Starting now? I would guess.
I think that's how it works.
Okay.
Persistent damage is at the end of
The end of his turn, actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh, his turn? Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. It is the end of his turn, so go ahead and roll 2d6 and okay. And he falls to the ground dead.
That's what I was hoping.
Yeah, he only had 9 or 4 left. You did a little more than you needed, and he falls to the ground here in a slump.
All right.
Yeah, so you guys can take stock of the area a little bit. He's been disabled, and you don't hear or see any other threats in the immediate area. So this will be probably where we'll park it until next time. Does anybody have anything else they want to do or say or add before we
No.
I just want
pause?
to point out, I think we killed him in one round.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys really jumped him. He's not necessarily built for battle. or nor was he prepared. So it was a
Yeah.
perfect opportunity to stealth attack a single target. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what you choose to do next time. But I think the setting here is the sort of blood lab, right? Like a blood lab in here, and that's the vibe that you're going to be starting in next time.
Cool.
Love that.
All right.
Gross.
Yeah, yeah. It is what it is. It's a living. It's a living. The Spriggins got to make a living too. That's.
Fair.
Thanks,
All right.
guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's fun
Thanks,
playing with
Justin,
y'all.
Jamie.
Take
Yeah.
care.
See y'all.
See ya.